Samsung's smartphones have matured into some of the best offerings on the market in 2016, and its smartwatches seem poised to do the same. The first thing that sings out about these watches is that they look good on the wrist. Really good. It goes without saying that Samsung's come a long way since the first Galaxy Gear, but even comparing the S3 to last year's S2, there's been substantial evolution in design. There are two versions of the S3, the Frontier for outdoorsy types, and the Classic for everyone else. Samsung worked with luxury Swiss watchmakers to build these, and it shows. The Classic evokes a luxury wristwatch without going overboard, with different finishes on different facets of its steel casing. Meanwhile, the Frontier brings added durability to the picture, with tolerance for extreme heat and extreme cold. The Frontier also brings an LTE radio, so you can use it without your smartphone. The Classic is Bluetooth only. And speakerphones now come standard on each watch. Each version of the S3 brings over the good ideas from the S2, while also introducing some nice upgrades. First, the always-on display has been reworked so that, instead of just an 8-color palette, watch faces can now use any of the 16 million colors the 1.3-inch Super AMOLED screen can produce. Despite that, Samsung claims battery life in the 3 to 4 day range, thanks to an expanded battery. Still not the biggest I've seen on a smartwatch, but a nice bump over the Gear S2. The watches also use standard 22mm connections, so you can swap in whichever bands you want. And the rotating bezel now lets you control more aspects of the software. You can reject calls or dismiss notifications without using the touchscreen. That screen is protected by the scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass SR Plus, making its debut on this device. And my personal favorite feature? Samsung Pay now works on the wrist. Now don't go thinking this just brings Samsung to parity with the Apple Watch. It goes beyond that. Remember, Samsung Pay includes MST technology, so you can use it on almost any terminal that has a magnetic stripe reader, not just the newer NFC ones. Awesome. I can't wait to try it in the real world. When it comes time for the full review, of course, I'll also take a look at the S3's possible shortcomings. The fact that it only comes in a 46mm size is discouraging to those of us who appreciate smaller smartwatches. Also, while Samsung's Tizen software is, I think, more intuitive than Android Wear or the Apple Watch, it still feels a bit more convoluted than it needs to be. In my view, Pebble still has the edge here. Price is TBD, and availability, for now, is a nebulous fourth quarter. I'll need those details, and I'll need to wear the watch in the real world for a few days before I know if it's worth a buy or not. But given what I've seen so far, the Gear S3 absolutely has the potential to eclipse most of the competition. With a new Apple Watch widely expected soon and new versions of Android Wear and Pebble coming too, it's going to be a busy season in the never-ending battle for your wrist. And Samsung, as usual, seems poised for a fierce fight.